channel. For those of you who are new, I'm not sure how you got here, but certainly I'm glad you came. And if you are new here, well, you're in for a treat. All right, if you enjoy chaotic, frenetic energy, you like beauty, horror, and enjoy a little bit of commentary thrown in between, I suggest you go on ahead and subscribe for the low price of $0. I will tell you a random fact about myself. Well, today, I guess we'll tell you a fact. I feel a little awkward, as per usual, when I'm telling my weirder facts. But, I can pick things up with my feet and regularly do so. I'm tall. Sometimes bending sucks. All right, and here are my socials. Let's hang out, let's chat, let's talk. Cute pictures of animals. Come to my stories. You know, you get to hang out, watch all the TikToks that I watch, so you don't have to have TikTok, because I'm a friend like that. All right, what are we here with today? All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's terror. Okay, I don't know why I even try to do it. Every time I think I'm gonna try to be creepy, and it doesn't work out. It's Terror Tuesday. Okay, we are going way back in time for this one, because this movie scared the bejesus out of me because I saw it the first time overseas, okay? I lived in Okinawa, Japan. I was a child who probably should not have been watching this movie, okay? So let's just, my mother is a good mom, but kids are sneaky. We're gonna be talking about the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This film was made in 1974, and the style of the film, which, by the way, the beginning of the movie where you hear that, you know, that noise, that camera noise, later was adopted in like this is what I think, okay? But I remembered that I'd heard the sound before, and then it came back again, and it came back when I saw Marilyn Manson's Sweet Dreams for the first time. The video. I know there were music videos. It was a thing. Anyhow, that sound was forever and indelibly put into my head and my mind as like, don't take photographs. Oof. Now, the thing about this movie is it was filmed in a part of Texas here, which you can actually, I think it's maybe like 2.5 hours perhaps that you can drive to the house. You used to not even be able to step foot on the property, but now I think they have some kind of weird slumber party thing that you can do there, which I am not down for. Listen, some of these movies have creepy histories and I don't want to be a part of it. And I was wrong. It's a 4-hour drive because it's close to Austin, Texas. Anyways, who wants to go to that house? Please don't. It's not really good for your like system and all that, like all that violence. Okay. And then just a random fun fact, in 1998, the original house was cut into several pieces to be moved and then reassembled as the original freaking house. If that doesn't tell you something about history, I don't know what will, but the house is fantastic. All right, so this was also directed by Tobe Hooper, and when I tell you that the actors brought their own clothes, I'm so serious. They brought their own clothes. It was hot as balls, so filming was a little bit of a nightmare, but the actors really powered through, and I really think that that brought some like realism to the story. So let's get started on the story. Spoilers on the movie. I mean, this was made in 1974. If you have not seen it, I don't know what to tell you, but like, this is a classic. This is a gateway horror film. You know, once you watch this, you're a degenerate. All right. So the movie starts out with a bunch of hippie kids, you know, driving across country. I really don't know exactly what they were doing, and honestly, I don't care. But they're driving along and they're like having a good time, and they're like do, and they pick up, you guessed it, a hitchhiker who, you know, looks a little sketchy, but this was back in the 70s, so like people did this regularly and people picked up hitchhikers. These days, we've all seen Criminal Minds and or Dexter, and we know better. So they pick up this hitchhiker, and things are kind of going like, all right, I guess, but they're driving through kind of this old shitty town where basically its main source was a meat factory. It's a meat factory. So they've picked up this hitchhiker and they're kind of talking to him about stuff. One of the guys who has like a little bit of a fro and is a little awkward and weird, and I think that he is the guy in the wheelchair, but I can't guarantee. Remember, I don't remember character names. So he's in there and they're talking about how you slaughter animals. And he was talking about, oh, I heard it's best that you do it with this little air hose, like Becca. And then the hitchhiker is like, no, it's better if you hit him over the head with the hammer. I know that this is very graphic, but this is gonna get somewhere because this movie ahead of its time. So anyhow, he's talking about it, and he's talking about like how you hear the pigs, and he starts making pig noises like, rah, rah. Okay, we're gonna pretend I didn't do that. Okay, anyways, so he starts making pig noises, and then he starts getting real weird, like real weird. He gets a little bit weird after he's talking about like his family and the slaughterhouse. So then he borrows one of the characters' knives and just starts cutting himself like willy-nilly, like, and they're all like, what the fuck? They kick him out of the car, like the van, the Scooby van. They kick him out of the Scooby van because they're like, enough is enough. So after that weird ass encounter, they stop to get gas, and then the gas station attendant, well, it's a creepy ass place anyway, there's like bones and creepiness, but they stop to get gas, and the gas station attendant's like, yo, pumps are empty, this town is dry. And they're like, okay, bud, pile back in the van. Now, of course, as per usual, I forgot a key point. The reason that they're going where they're going, which is like a homestead, is because one of them, it's their family's grave, and they're going to go visit their family grave. So that you probably need to know why they're traveling. I mean, you don't really, because it's a horror film and they're traveling to die. So their whole thing is, okay, well, let's just like go to the homestead, which is what they called it. Let's just go to the homestead. Let's go to the grave, and we'll go back and get gas because they're supposed to get like more gas later, because this is Texas and this is a normal thing that happens in Texas anyway. Believe me, this is true. But then they stumble across a random house, and they're like, you know what, maybe this house has gas. I don't know why they would think that, but that is their thought process. So they all pile out of the Scooby Gang vehicle. By the way, also forgot to tell you that the pictures at the beginning was like giving you a whole rundown of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, okay? Like of what went down. So like that camera noise, so the whole point there was just like, what we're about to tell you is a true story, which is another reason why this movie scared the bejesus out of me, because I thought it was a true story, and I certainly did not want to move back to Texas when I found out that's where we were going after having seen that movie, because I was like, no, murderers live there. So actually, that's still true. So anyway, they stumble upon this house, and they're like, let's go check this out because we're dumb. So they go do that. Two of them go to like go swimming or whatever. One dude is like, I'm gonna go in the house and check some shit out. So he goes in the house, and he's like wandering around as one does, and then he hears it. And he's like, hello? And he hears like, and he's like, what the fuck is that? I mean, that's obviously not what he said because it was the 70s, so he didn't say that. But it's not saying the phrase was not invented, but like that was not heavily used. Anyway, he continues walking into the house, which this is another lesson for you. Don't walk uninvited into anyone's home. Anyway, he walks in, and he's like hearing the noises, and he gets closer and closer, and then the fucking door slides open. And who is standing there but Leatherface with a big hammer? Whap! Hits dude over the head. Whap! Hits him again, drags him, and then whoosh, shuts that door. Now, that harkens back to the story that they were talking about at the very beginning when he was talking about his family and the slaughterhouse. He just slaughtered him like one of them pigs. You guys, when I realized that as an older, more mature adult and horror lover, I was like, no. It made the movie so much scarier to me. And I used to not, like, I had gotten past my fear of that film. And then when I saw it again, I was like, no. So then one of the chicks comes in and she's like, boy, where you at? Like, that's not what she said, but anyways, you know how I tell stories at this point. So she's wondering where he is, and then she trips over all of these bones, and she's like, oh my fucking God, what the hell? And she's like breathing hard, and she tries to escape, and then Leatherface comes, he grabs her, and she's like, ah! And then he fucking whoosh, slaps her ass on a meat hook. These people have made mistakes in their lives, and the biggest one wasn't even picking up the hitchhiker. It was being nosy. And I am a nosy bitch, but I have learned the bounds of my nosiness. I know the limits of it, and you just stop at some point. Now, you would think she's dead, but she is not dead. She is still alive on the meat hook. watching as Leatherface butchers the dude that he hit in the head with the hammer. What do you think he's doing with that guy? What do you think he's doing? It's not good. It rhymes with feeding or keating. So then I believe it's old boy in the wheelchair goes looking for everybody. He's like, what the hell? Where is everybody? He always feels like nobody really likes him because he's in a wheelchair, but he's like totally fine. But it was the 70s and like they were not as caring about ableism back then. So he was having a rough time. So he gets into the house. He's like in the house and he finds old girl and he sees her hanging there. He's like, oh my gosh. And he wants to rescue her, but he can't. Leatherface kills him. Done. Another one bites the frickin' dust. 3 down, my friend. I mean, she's still alive, but realistically, would you wanna be? So the 2 who went to the watering hole are now like, hey, it's dark, like, where is everybody? And they go on looking for their friend. This is where shit gets real, okay? They're like stumbling around in the dark, looking for their friends, when a Leatherface comes out, and he kills the dude. And old girl, I think her name is Sally, that's whose name I remember, because her story is the one that matters, is like, what? I know that that's not the exact, you know how I tell a story. So Sally runs into the house and she's like running upstairs in true horror fashion and runs into like gross old remains of a couple and they're like upstairs and it's gross and there's bones everywhere and she's just like, okay, that was very dramatic, but like that's what it was like in the movie, to be honest. If you go watch it, you'll see I'm telling the truth. But there is hope for Sally because she leaps through the window because she is going to live. She's like, fuck this shit. So she leaps through the window and runs and she's like, and then she gets to the gas station and she's like, oh my God, help me, help me. And he's like, whoa, calm down now. You know, true Texan Southern gentleman is like, whoa, calm down now, Nelly, like, relax, sit down. She's like, oh my God, they're coming to kill me. And he's like, just relax there. And she's like, oh my God. And then he starts tying her up and she's like, what now? And then she sees the hitchhiker and he's like, and everybody's like having such a good time making fun of the fact that they've got her. You know, they stick her in the truck, off they go. Now, Sally's ordeal goes from like bad to like a million times worse because throughout this, they keep trying to like have her sit with the family. They're eating dinner. You know what they're having for dinner, right? It's people. So anyway, the thing that you're realizing about this town is that it's very, very run down. Nobody lives there. And this family never wanted to leave. And the way that they stayed, because there's no commerce, there's no meat, there's no farms, there's nothing for them to eat, except people they come across. And these people made mistakes. They really should have just stayed in their own lane, but they didn't. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, Sally's sitting at this dinner table. Things are going awry. They're trying to like do all kinds of horrible stuff to her. The worst thing that I saw in this movie, which still like triggers my gut a little bit and like makes me super uncomfortable, is when they have Sally over a bucket and they are like trying to get Grandpa, who's like basically decrepit, to hit her over the head with the hammer. And they're like putting it in his hand and he's like, ugh, and it keeps falling and it's like it never hits her on the head, but there's something horrifying about her screaming repeatedly as they're like, get her Grandpa, get her Grandpa, and like the hammer never hits her on the head. And it's just horrifying because it's just, I can't really explain how awful it is. It's the fact that you keep expecting it to hit her and it never does, and her screaming never stops. But eventually Sally again breaks free. She goes running from this house. She's like, she is fucking traumatized, by the way. Like she's bloody, her hair is tangled, she's sweaty. She has survived a horrible ordeal and she's still trying to survive this horrible ordeal. So once again, she leaps through another window. This family really needs to consider boarding up their windows if they want to keep their prey. Just a thought. And she is running. Leatherface and hitchhiker guy are chasing her and she's like, hitchhiker guy, boom, hit by a truck. Thank fuck, because I was getting worried. I was like, oh my God, is she not gonna survive? Is there not gonna be a fucking final girl? But it doesn't look like it, because Leatherface still in pursuit. The truck driver stops, helps Sally, and she's like, go, 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 go. So she gets in the back of this truck, and Leatherface is just like, me, all over the truck, but the driver keeps going, she gets away, and she just laughs hysterically, like, oh, that's the whole thing. I promise it's like that. And then you see Leatherface in the sunset or sunrise, whichever one you want to use, because I'm bad at figuring those out. Listen, I know one happens in the day and one happens in the night, but by the film, you know, I guess it's the sunrise. Anyway, it's back there, it's big, it's orange, and it's beautiful, but against it, Leatherface with his chainsaw up. Doing a whole ass circle. And that's the end of the movie. Sally survives, but so does Leatherface. Also, I'd like to have a very quick moment of silence for Gunnar Nelson, the original portrayer of Leatherface. Okay, so, oh, I almost started crying. He was one of my heroes, like one of my horror heroes. It feels like the same way when Wes Craven died. It's pretty horrible. Anyhow, this movie was so scary and so frightening. One, because it seemed like it was a real story, but they did base Leatherface off of Ed Gein. They were a cannibalistic family, and the thing about Texas is, like, you could say virtually anything has happened here and people would believe it, because Texas is kind of a weird state. Now, of course, at the time of its release, it had obviously mixed reviews. Like, some people really loved it and most of them didn't, because they said it's violent, it's deplorable, it's despicable. But it was a movie of the times, and I still, to this day, think it's one of the greatest horror films ever made. So sorry. If you disagree, don't tell me. And that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I hope you guys enjoyed that and my really odd retelling. I think that that's like the most animated retelling I've done in a really long time, which lets you know how much I actually love this movie. So you guys let me know in the comments if you love this movie. What is the scariest film you've seen? Like, I know that this was made in 1974, but honestly, when I first watched it again, and that was last year, like as a full-grown, actualized, full woman, I didn't sleep well. It took a while before I could go to sleep to it. Yes, I go to sleep to horror movies on. Who cares? All right, guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this Terror Tuesday. Please let me know if you did. If you have any movie suggestions, let me know. If I can get a hold of them, I will. And a huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys so much. You are fabulous. You are wonderful. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, guys, please be safe out there. Wear your freaking fracking masks. I know sometimes you see me in photos and you're like, she's not wearing a mask. I know, because I'm walking my dog. Now, when I walk him, no one's outside. So that's why I do that. All right, until next time, please be safe, please be kind, and until next time again, because now I'm worried that there won't be one. The world is in shambles. Deuces! Oh my gosh.